Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session of the Beginning Farmer and Rancher Lunchtime webinar series. As always, we want to acknowledge the support of the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, USDA NIFA, for the support of this webinar series. We appreciate your continued participation in each of these sessions. I feel like we've had a really good set of topics, and I thank you again for your participation in today's session. Today, we will be hearing from Mr. Jason Harvey. Jason is a market development coordinator with the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture, Food, and Forestry. So he is working on helping producers with economic development issues, accessing grants, loans, and other services that ODAFF provides. And so with that, I'll welcome Mr. Jason Harvey to talk to us today about the AEDP program with ODAFF. Thank you, Jason.
Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. As he said, I'm with the State Department of Agriculture. I work in our marketing division there. Have been there for a little over 25 years now. I've been in different areas and sections, currently in our economic development area, where I oversee 4 or 5 different either state or federal financial assistance programs. Probably the longest standing of those is the one here to talk about today is our Ag Enhancement and Diversification Program. We'll try and keep this fairly brief and hopefully informative. I've got a little bit of some slides to go over. Hopefully we'll have some time at the end that we'll open it up and allow for any questions that anyone may have pertaining to the Ag Enhancement Program. So we'll get started with that. So the Ag Enhancement and Diversification Program, or if you hear us talk, we'll just always say either the AEDP program or Ag Enhancement Program. We've had at the agency there since 1999. It was established then. The legislature patterned it off of some other programs. That main one was in North Dakota at the time. And we started making applications back in 2000 was the first time that we started accepting applications in for the program. But the premise of the program is one that it's designed to kind of develop and help improve uses for our agricultural products in the state, and also to increase value-added production of our agricultural commodities and natural resources, and include and encourage diversified farming. It's it's real easy. We sometimes farmers get into the mindset of we've done it this way, and we don't want to kind of get outside of that box. This is kind of a grant program, loan program that kind of hopefully can encourage somebody to take a chance, step out on a limb a little bit without having a whole lot of financial risk of their own tied up in it. The program provides grants up to $10,000 for projects. Anything over that amount would be considered a loan, and we talk a little bit more about those once we get into it. This is a competitive loan and grant program, which means there is a 8-member selection committee. They meet on a quarterly basis to review applications. As you can see, the submission deadlines for this. Some of the grant programs that you've probably heard about previously on the federal side, those may have just a one or an annual submission deadline. If you miss it, then you've got to wait an entire another year before you're able to submit and apply. This one, you have 4 different opportunities to get an application in. to be reviewed. It's always the first working day of each quarter, unless that falls on either a holiday or a weekend. So you may be looking at like a lot of times January we hit on a holiday there, so that may be different. I always encourage people, if you have a date that you're wanting to get started, I always encourage, try backing up and making your applications, at least 6 months in front of that. That gives us time to get the applications in. Generally, it's kind of the end of the month for those. I'll use April, for example. April 1st was our deadline. Our committee is actually meeting next Tuesday, the 29th. So they'll meet then. If applications are approved, then they have to go before the State Board of Ag at their next meeting and for approval. And then once we get the contracts and paperwork in place, we're probably looking at sometime around middle of June before you're able to start making purchases or kind of truly beginning your project. So I always tell people that we need to back that up because it doesn't just you just don't submit and then find out the following week if you are approved or not. So the eligibility on the program, fairly easy on some of these. You've got to be at least 21 years of age, and you must be a legal resident of the state of Oklahoma to be eligible to receive these programs or any of these that we're going to talk about. Some of the reasons why is the money that goes into fund these programs are state appropriated dollars. So essentially your tax dollars, my tax dollars that are going into these. And so we feel that if it's Oklahoma's tax dollars going in, it needs to stay with Oklahomans to help benefit our folks. As you can see, we're mainly going to talk about the grants here today, but our grants are set up in 3 different levels of funding. So said earlier there, the maximum a grant can be is $10,000 in nature. We look at our grants at as if it's $2,500 or less, it's just an outright grant. There's no matching required from you as the applicant. The middle section there, that $2,501 to $5,000 level, requires a 25% cash or in-kind match in funds. And so what we're meaning whenever we say in-kind, we're not able to use grant funding to pay for like the applicant or a family member's time. If you were say putting in a hoop house and you had to do ground preparation, or you were going to do the installation yourself, we cannot pay you for that work, but we also say your time is valuable and worth something. So you would be able to utilize your time. We even let you, we don't cap it or set it at a certain dollar value. We let you tell us, how much you think that your time in dollar amount is worth. So that is what we're meaning when we talk about in-kind matching. And then the final level is the $5,000 to $10,000 level, and it does require a dollar-for-dollar cash match. Another thing with that level of grants, so any grant that is above $5,000 in nature in any loan application is required to come before our selection committee whenever they meet. We set up their 20-minute time slots. The applicant, if you would kind of envision Shark Tank, where you would come in, present your idea to those individuals. They then have 5 minutes to ask questions of either your project or your presentation or the application itself, and then they're able to make decisions the day of the meeting there. I'm briefly going to go over the Ag Enhancement Diversification Program has 5 different opportunities that fall underneath the title there. They all pull from the same pool of money, so it doesn't matter which one. It's the funding is for the program, and in each of these, I'll get funded out of that. Our Ag Event Grant is one as a grant that is available to it's either kind of communities or areas that are looking to have and put on some type of an agricultural event that highlights an agricultural product that creates kind of an economic impact or benefit to an area. So if you were to think of a town or community that was wanting to put on a strawberry festival or some type of event that we're bringing tourists to the town that would be spending money, and then also having some educational components about educating those consumers about ag and what that agricultural product is. Our product development and research grant is one that kind of for projects that are looking to kind of create and expand agricultural businesses through any type of research that may be needed, but feasibility studies, test marketing, but the research should lead to a marketable product. So that's what we're looking at. This whole program is looking at creating economic benefits to individuals or communities or areas that are applying. So we're looking at how can we either increase sales, increase marketability of a product, and that's kind of where that product development, or if you looking at have an idea of a product and needing research to help with the marketing of it, this is area that could come into play. As you can see, it can either be a grant or a loan. The value-added ag grant or loan also is another one there. Projects should develop and establish, production or processing of a, product that is more like our value added, where you're taking a raw agricultural commodity, doing further processing to add value to that and put in out for sales for consumers. Kind of move into probably our 2 most popular ones that are more in line with with producers. Probably that we're here talking with today is our farm diversification grant and our veteran/young farmer grant. The farm diversification grant has been in existence since the program was created in '99. The veteran young farmer one was created back in I think it was like end of 21, beginning of 22 is whenever we first rolled it out. But kind of what we were kind of doing an overhaul and facelift on the program, and knew that there was an area that was out there that this farm diversification grant was not covering, and needed to try and come up with a grant program that would cover that. And so we created this veteran young farmer one. Kind of talk about the farm diversification one first. They're, like I said, they're similar, but they are a little bit different in nature. So with the diversification grant, applicants must currently be farming or ranching, involved in agriculture in some aspect at the time of application. And the projects need to diversify the operation and not necessarily an expansion. So if applicant was wanting to, or was currently raising tomatoes, they would not be able to apply for a diversification grant to just add onto either their acreage or add different varieties of tomatoes. It would have to be something different, like blackberries or sweet corn or peppers or some other type of a project that would apply to the diversification grant. We're looking for like well prepared, well thought out business plans of we as farmers are really good. We can grow just about anything that we put our minds to. We're able to grow it. The issue is that a lot of times we don't put a lot of thought and planning into the after it's harvested, how are we going to market? How are we going to sell? Is there a market for it? Even though we can grow it, how are we going to do that? So this is one of those with the diversification and the veteran young farmer, when we look into this of how, is what available markets are there? How do you plan on and marketing and selling your goods? And then also, as I said, it must have the potential to create income for the farm. So it's not for a project to put in a garden just to raise food for your family's consumption. We're looking at projects that have to be sizable in nature, that the harvest is then going to be taken to a farmer's market, a food hub, a roadside stand. You're selling it their internet. The products that are being harvested have to be something of size to be able to sell and bring income into the farm. Also, with this, we require an applicant advisor to come along on the project with you. With this being a diversification, more than likely, you probably don't have experience growing or raising whatever it is that you're wanting to do. And we've asked that having an advisor has helped out, because hopefully that advisor that you go and get will have some knowledge and experience in the area, or have access or know how to help. I think Josh said that in the chat, he put a link to our website there. From our Ag Enhancement and Diversification page there, you were able to click on the titles of the various either loans or grants that we've talked about here, and you're able to download the applications directly from our website. Those should come into you as a Word document that would allow you to just start working and typing directly into that application. On those cover pages for the diversification and veteran young farmer, we have a list of 5 or 6 occupations that could serve as an advisor. It's not limited to those by any means, but those are just a lot of questions that I get from time to time is, well, who could serve? Well, we have people that extension would be great. Reason that we kind of have that is going back to always use grapes as an example of. Grapes are fairly costly to get started, to get established, and they're a crop that sometimes they are very susceptible to different diseases, or if there's any pesticides, herbicides that are around, they're fairly susceptible to those. And we want you to have access to like somebody that may have knowledge. Now that we've got everybody kind of has smartphones, it's easy to be able to go out, take a quick picture of either the leaves or how the vines or plants or something is looking, and then get that to to either like our grape specialist at OSU or somebody else that has that knowledge and background and be able to tell you, oh, this is an easy fix. It's either, easy to remedy and kind of can help rather than us just sitting there wondering what's wrong and having the potential for losing our entire crop by not by taking action on it in a timely manner. So that is the reason that we have those advisors there. Under the farm diversification grant, going on from the projects must be an expansion, and they really need to fit into one of these three categories. The project should be focused on a project that would be for kind of a non-traditional or specialty crop or livestock based project. So if you look at our traditional agricultural commodities in Oklahoma, your wheat, your cotton, your soybeans, cattle, poultry, swine, those types of production. If you look at probably our top 15, top 20 in there, those would not be eligible for this farm diversification grant. We're looking at more of your fruits, vegetables, herbs, type projects, kind of on a crop. There are some row crops also that would be considered non-traditional, that could qualify. The livestock one gets a little bit more narrow in what would qualify on that, but if people will call with ideas all the time, and we can kind of talk through, and I can let you know if I feel that would be something that would qualify or not. On-farm processing of an agricultural commodity. So if somebody was wanting to put in a commercial kitchen on their farm that to help process those either excess items that didn't get sold at the market that week, something that may have just a small blemish that you're probably not going to take to the market and sell, but 80% of the item is still usable. Just kind of trim out the little blemish that's on there, but then you could still use 80% of it in a salsa or a jam or sauce that you're making, and then have a usable product that you could then take and sell 12 months out of the year, rather than the short time frame that you have a fresh fruit or vegetable there. There's other types of processing. We've had some. It kind of goes in waves or cycles. We've had in the past, we've seen a lot of applications for processing kitchens, for hoop houses, we've had some that are raising poultry, in which we can't do anything with the production of poultry, but they were making applications for processing equipment where they could then process their birds and then have those to sell at markets. We've been able to kind of assist with a few of those type operations. Or the third area there is either diversifying into an agritourism venue, or if you are a current agritourism venue and wanting to add something else to your business plan model there, those would also qualify for that. Looking at the Veteran Young Farmer Grant or Loan Program, as you can see, it can be a loan where the diversification is solely a grant, so caps out at that $10,000. So our definition of a veteran farmer is any individual who has served in a branch of the armed forces, and also includes reserves, who was discharged or released under conditions other than dishonorable. And then our definition of a young farmer is anyone who is under the age of 45. And so if you meet one or the other of those, We've even had several that meet both of those. You would be eligible for this project. And with the difference between the diversification grant and the veteran young farmer one is applications can be for new or existing ag operations. So you do not have to currently be farming or ranching to be eligible to make application. And the projects could be for traditional or non-traditional ag production. So those are some of the major changes or differences that we have there between the diversification and the veteran young farmer one. Again, kind of like the other one, we're looking at new and innovative plans for marketing. The committee, they're very cognizant of knowing that these are tax dollars. They do not fund every project that comes before them, and I think we applaud them for that. They are looking at just because it's an application, they want to look and see new ideas. What are some new ideas? Let's not do it the same way that we've done it year after year after year. Kind of come up with either new ways of growing something, new products that we can have out there. So those are things that they're looking at whenever they're looking at applications and making decisions on them. Also, with the veteran young farmer one of the things you're required to have is a projected revenue budget for a minimum of 5 years. So trying to look at really digging into business plans. Can this project be successful over the long haul? It also requires an applicant advisor to be on board with it. Also, people ask, what can the monies be used for? I find it easier to go over what we can't use the money for. That list is a lot shorter and a lot easier to understand. So for the Ag Enhancement Program, we are not able to use the money to purchase real property. So the meaning of that is we can't use it to purchase land. We cannot use it to purchase like an existing brick and mortar building. So, but we can use the money for buying supplies to build a building or a processing area or something on your property. We just cannot use it to purchase an existing structure. The legislature, whenever they created it, for some reason they have in there, we cannot use the money to purchase livestock. We can use it to purchase seeds or transplants or trees to that nature. If we're looking at growing a crop, but for whenever they set it up, we cannot use it to purchase livestock. Also cannot use it to purchase motorized vehicles such as trucks, ATVs or UTVs, tractors. We're able to use the money to, if you've already have a tractor, we can use it to purchase specialized equipment or machinery that would go on that tractor or a truck or anything to that nature. They try and fund projects that are tied specifically to the application or to the agricultural production and not be able to be used for activities outside of ag project. This is one that is new there, but has been put in, but growing or any other aspect of either medical marijuana. So that is one we cannot use the money for. And I put this in here. Typically, the committee does not fund items that other agencies or grant programs will cover. So like with NRCS, they will not cover the an external fence, but there are funding for cross fencing or building ponds. So if there's other opportunities out there, the committee likes to try and encourage the applicants to go after those and utilize this money for things that other programs cannot cover. Water wells is one. They've taken a stance of like drilling of a water well, of trying to have that on the applicant themselves, and then that way they can utilize the water in whatever manner if they need to, run it to their house or to their shop or anything else. No, they will go from the actual well. We can do any type of irrigation, pumps, fittings, anything that for irrigation they would be willing to cover. And also hoop houses, they have funded some. They've also encouraged folks to look into the high tunnel grants that NRCS has. Also, if they're not able to qualify or be eligible for those, they have we've tried to make some exceptions and helped fund some of those. I think that was it. I know Josh said we'd try and stick to about 45 minutes here, close to about 30, and like to really open it up and see if there's any questions that anybody may have. That one question generally leads to dominoes of others may have something else that comes up. So I'll open it up. If anybody has questions, we'll try and get them answered for you.
Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate your time today.
And so that kind of gives them a little more whenever they're making those decisions, that a lot of them are tough decisions, but if an applicant can't tell them more than that, that leads them to think, how much effort are they going to actually put into whenever it's 100 degrees outside and high humidity, are you going to be out there working and putting effort into the program?
Thank you, Jason. We actually have several questions that have come in. I didn't realize I had the chat disabled. And so we have several questions. We'll take the first one here in the chat, and then I'll bounce over to the Q&A questions. The first question in the chat, it says, how many applications are typically received each year, or each quarter, and how many of those do you typically fund?
And I wish I had a good answer on that. It fluctuates and varies, and there's times that April, one year April may be really high, the next year it may be low. A lot of times we will have typically we have about 12 applications each quarter, and some of those, a lot of times that will be maybe a half and half that are under 5,000 and the other over. We've never had more than 20 applications. As far back as I've been working with the program since it started, but we've never had more than 20 applications a quarter. And the funding, this program, it is solely up to that committee. So if we had, tell people, there's some grant programs that they're required to fund or deny a certain number or percentage. That's not the case with this. If there were 8 projects that were submitted and all of them were really good applications, they have the ability, as long as we have funding available, they can fund all 8 if they so choose. If all 8 of them were less than desirable, they have the ability to deny all of those. But they try, like I said earlier, they're cognizant of this being state funds, and they don't fund every project that comes before them. And they want them to be innovative. They want to make sure that they have a good business plan. How are you going to market? I tell this as a example of, I mean, one project many years ago was for a person wanted to do a aquaculture program, but which was really new and innovative. But their marketing scheme was they were going to harvest the live catfish, put them in a stock tank in the back of their truck, and go to set out at the local Walmart and sell catfish. And that was in the northwest part of the state where there's no trees, and where you're not going, I mean, that marketing was not going to work. So that project was not funded. But it's kind of one of those of we need to have an idea in place of how we're going to sell and market. But I'll be quiet, Josh, and we'll go to the questions.
Yeah, no, that's good. This is great information. Next question. Pertaining to an ag event, it says, as far as ag events go, have you seen any grants for conferences come through? We're looking at hosting a soil health conference next spring.
There's not been one that we have funded that has been for a conference, because we've looked at the events that are more in terms of those are bringing people in to an area that I mean, where the conference is, it's definitely you're bringing outside individuals into Oklahoma. They've looked at it just more of as an event rather than an educational conference. So we've not received or had any that have been funded for conferences.
But there is a category for educational, so that is an application, right? For something
that could be something that is there. But yes, I mean, they want the projects or there to be some type of a educational component where the attendees are learning something about either an ag commodity or some type of whatever the event is focused on or surrounded around. They're wanting them to have some education wrapped into that.
The next one, it says, I missed the beginning of the call, but is there a deadline for this? We did cover the quarterly deadline. So there's a rolling application process, as Jason said, the first of every quarter, January 1, April 1, July 1, and October 1. And then they batch them accordingly as when they receive them. This question says, the next question says, we have 3 people in our LLC. One is a 33% owner, a veteran, and he lives in California. One is a veteran, 33% owner, and lives here in Oklahoma. I live in Oklahoma as well with 34% ownership. Would we not be eligible if one owner is out of state? Question mark.
That would be a good question that we've not had. I would have to, I guess, do some research with our general counsel and see how they would determine that.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. The only thing I'll say is I don't
guess
know.
Let me ask this: is the LLC set up as an Oklahoma entity?
Yeah, I think that would be the question. If it's an in-state entity, I think that they would probably pass. But
yes.
But that would be a further exploration type of question, and Jason could help you with that. The next question is there a website we can go for more information on applications, et cetera? That is posted in the link. It is the very top link there. It's ag.ok.gov/economic-development. Or if you just did a Google search for ODAFF AEDP, it's the first thing that comes up. And that link is there. Next question is, can you apply for more than one?
Great question. Unfortunately, no, you're not able to apply for more than one at the same time. The committee has a policy that they are willing to fund an applicant for more than one, but you can only apply for, say, make one farm diversification grant, and then if you wanted to come back with a product development and research one at a later time, you're able to do that. Or if you're wanting to do another diversification grant, as long as it is completely separate than the original one, they've been willing to do that. They've drawn the line at two, and not been willing to do a third one to individuals.
Thank you. And the next part of that question is, if you do not get picked, do you have to reapply, or do the applications stay active?
You have to reapply, and the committee is very good, and I try and I stay on them because I'm the one that generally I'm the one relaying that message. And what I have found after several years, instead of just letting you know that no, your application was not funded, we try and give you some helpful comments, or not helpful, but the comments that the committee made, and a little bit of justification of their reasoning why they did not apply or approve it. A lot of times they have said that there's just been maybe one, like a big hole that was missing, or something that was there that they just couldn't fund it the way it was. They will give me the direction of, let them know we really like the idea, we like the concept, but we just can't fund it as it was. Really encourage them to go back and revise it, try and answer those questions that we have here, and then encourage them to submit the next quarter.
Good. All right. The next question we have is, can our advisor be from another county other than the one we live in? For example, our kids participate in a 4-H program in another county than the one we live in, and so that county extension agent has been our mentor.
Yeah, that makes no difference where they're at. And unfortunately, we have a lot of great knowledge here in the state. Sometimes there's some projects that come up that we may not have somebody that would be the best advisor for you in that, and it may need to be somebody even out of state. And so we're open to having an advisor that is somebody out of state. We just want you to have somebody that that is willing to kind of work with you and may have already been there and done that, and kind of know some of the pitfalls to look for and work around as you're kind of starting out.
Very good. And the last question here is, there's a question about if there's a fee charged by advisors. I would say if you're using an county extension professional, anybody within cooperative extension or related agencies that have a service mission to agricultural producers, then there would not be a fee charged. Perhaps if you are working with some sort of private specialist to advise, they may try to get you to pay a fee, but in general, you're not paying a fee for this service.
Yeah, I would say if somebody's trying to charge you a fee to be your advisor, there's several other options out there that would not charge you a fee. So I would definitely not pay a fee to have somebody serve as your advisor.
The final question I have here is, where's the application for the veteran loan program, and who is the contact person? So we did mention that you can find that information on the ODAFF website. I posted the link there, and I'll post it again here in just a second. And I believe the contact person would be Jason.
Correct. And we have those they're listed alphabetically on that page. So the veteran one is at the very bottom of that page. So you would once you're there, scroll to the bottom, and you would find it. The website should have my my name with contact phone number and link for my email address on there. I think it was on the slide, or I think Josh also has it if you need to reach out and get it from him. He has that available. But I would be when it's whenever you're wanting to submit those applications, it's as easy as just emailing that to me. There's not a, some states have grant administration software and all that's there. We're not that technical. We just I ask that the applications, whenever you submit them to me, either be as a Word document or a PDF, and as an attachment, as our state IT folks, they've opened up a little bit and it's gotten a little bit better, but like we're not able to access anything that gets sent to us on like a Google Drive or Google Docs. And so I always have to reach out whenever somebody sends me those to an application, or whenever they are sending me paperwork for existing grants. I always have to, ask that they be done in either like a PDF or a Word doc that's sent as an attachment. And then, are there any other questions?
Those are all the questions we have in the chat.
Okay. I think I've got just a few more minutes here. Let me go over. We've talked about the grants themselves, and real quickly, I want to talk about step 2 is once you've applied and if you have received it, whenever we set you up with a contract and a purchase order, those that are successful with our contracts as a state agency, we can only enter into a contract for a 12-month time frame. So from the start of the purchase order date, we have 12 months to be able to spend the money. So we cannot reimburse you on purchases that happen prior to that contract and purchase order being in place. And a lot of times what we will do is we split up your funding. You get that in 1/3 increments. So I'm going to just say if it was a $3,000 grant that you receive, you're able to invoice us upfront for the first 1,000 of that money and have it in hand, and then make purchases. And once you have spent that amount, you're able to then send me copies of your receipts and showing how the money was spent and for what items, and then an invoice for the second amount, and then just kind of a brief paragraph of here's what we've done to date. And then we just repeat that for second and third payments. But just kind of giving everybody, some grants are different where you have to go spend all of the money up front and then be reimbursed on it. But we try and be a little bit more user friendly in terms of breaking it up and not making you pay out of pocket and then get reimbursed. But we've kind of got that 1/3 increments is a little bit of our checks and balances to make sure that money is being spent in a proper manner.
Very good. Well, thank you again, Jason. I think that's very thorough. And Christy there says that this is a great webinar, very informative. So thank you, Christy. Appreciate everyone joining. If other questions do come up as you're starting to think about preparing for submitting one of these proposals to ODAFF, please reach out to me, to Jason, to somebody that could be a resource for you, and we would be glad to chat with you about that. I do encourage you, if you're thinking about a project, to put a proposal together and try to submit a quality project. But remember, the reason we kind of ordered some of the program the way we did is that some of the prerequisites to a quality proposal are having a good business plan and understanding the context and the marketing plan and all of those things that Jason has talked about. And so be working on those things and use that to inform how you think about these projects. With that, we will see you next week at this same time. Thank you.